Verdict is in the racketeering and sex trafficking trial of singer R. Kelly.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down the most famous and sordid criminal trials involving celebrities.
It's quite a scene out here already. You have media from around the world, throngs of onlookers.
Number 10, Oscar Wilde.
Did you know Mr. Taylor kept ladies' dresses in his rooms? No.
We're going a bit back for this one. Oscar Wilde is one of the most famous Victorian writers, but his career hit a significant wall in 1895. In February of that year, Wilde sued the Marquess of Queensberry for libel after Queensberry accused him of homosexual conduct.
It is in this century misunderstood. So much misunderstood that it may be described as the love that dare not speak its name. And on account of it, I am placed where I am now.
Wilde eventually dropped the suit, but was arrested on charges of gross indecency, a vague crime which allowed authorities to prosecute acts of physical intimacy between men. Wilde underwent two sensational trials, the first of which ended in a hung jury. The second resulted in a conviction, thanks in large part to witness testimony and the loose definition of the law. He was ultimately sentenced to 2 years of hard labor and died soon after his release.
The sentence of the court is that you will be imprisoned and held to hard labor for 2 years.
Number 9, Depp vs. Heard.
And on my side of the bed, was human fecal matter.
Behold, the social media trial of our age. Held throughout the spring of 2022, the trial saw Johnny Depp suing his ex-wife, Amber Heard, for defamation after she published an op-ed claiming to be a victim of domestic abuse. Heard was countersuing Depp for similar reasons. The trial was widely followed and enormously mocked, thanks to a number of meme-worthy moments.
You poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint?
Yeah.
These include the famous poop in the bed incident, my dog stepped on a bee, Depp's deadpan humor on the stand, and best of all, the fabled mega pint. Seriously, this thing deserves its own movie. And in the end, Heard faced significant scrutiny, being regarded as the figurative and literal loser of the trial.
Everyone was just having a good time, you know, like normal stuff.
Number 8, Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin now faces involuntary manslaughter and a firearm enhancement charge for his role in the death of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins.
The world was left utterly shocked on October 21st, 2021, when we heard that Alec Baldwin had accidentally shot and killed someone on the set of a movie. That movie was a Western called Rust, and the victim was its cinematographer, Halyna Hutchins. Baldwin was charged with involuntary manslaughter, and the trial commenced in Santa Fe in July 2024.
Jury selection begins tomorrow in Alec Baldwin's trial for the deadly shooting on the set of his movie Rust.
The trial was enormously popular thanks to Baldwin's fame, the dramatic story at its core, and the controversy of even charging Baldwin in the first place, with most thinking he was not to blame. But just 3 days into the proceedings, Judge Mary Sommer dismissed the case after the prosecution failed to disclose critical evidence to the defense.
Dismissal with prejudice is warranted to ensure the integrity of the judicial system and the efficient administration of justice. Your motion to dismiss with prejudice is granted.
Number 7, Martha Stewart.
The sign at the local diner says it all. Welcome, Martha. Welcome to Alderson, West Virginia, the prison town that will be Martha Stewart's home for the next 5 months.
Insider trading isn't as juicy as some of the other crimes on this list, but it still resulted in one of the biggest celebrity trials of the 21st century. In June of 2003, Stewart and her broker, Peter Bogdanovich, were indicted on charges related to insider trading. The trial began in January 2004 and lasted 5 weeks, becoming a media spectacle owing to Stewart's celebrity status and the public's fascination with white-collar crime in the early 2000s.
So the media waited with great anticipation, but Martha Stewart decided to spend her last night of freedom away from the glare of the spotlight. Tomorrow, she trades that glare for surveillance of a different kind.
Remember, Enron and WorldCom occurred just a few years prior, and the controversy was still fresh. Stewart was ultimately found guilty on 4 counts and sentenced to 5 months in prison, 5 months of home confinement, and 2 years of probation.
I mean, you really have been in the fire. You've been tested.
Yeah.
And I think everybody wants to know, gosh, how would I hold up under those things?
Am I more attractive?
Yes, you are. Believe me.
Number 6, Harvey Weinstein.
Today, that highly anticipated trial against the former Hollywood heavyweight begins.
While not exactly a household name at the time, Harvey Weinstein was a prominent film producer with major clout in Hollywood, having co-founded Miramax and produced landmark films like Pulp Fiction and Scream. Of course, he was also the central figure in a watershed criminal case that helped ignite the global #MeToo movement.
The entire trial is expected to take longer than 2 months.
Weinstein went on 2 trials for sexual assault, one in New York and one in LA, and was found guilty in both, resulting in a combined 39 years in prison. However, an appeals court overturned the New York conviction in 2024, ruling that the judge improperly allowed testimony from women whose allegations were not part of the charges. Regardless, his trial ignited one of the biggest cultural movements of the century.
This, of course, is on the higher end of the sentence we were expecting. He was facing 5 to 29 years in prison, so those 23 years on the higher end of that sentence. Clearly, the judge here felt that that was warranted.
Number 5. Phil Spectre.
Spectre escaped conviction in his first trial with a hung jury. This time, jurors came to a verdict, but it was tough.
Like Harvey Weinstein, Phil Spectre also worked behind the scenes, serving as one of the music industry's most influential producers. He was everywhere in the 60s and 70s, but by the 80s, he had fallen into seclusion and was suffering from mental illness. And then, on February 3, 2003, actress Lana Clarkson was found dead from a gunshot wound at Spectre's mansion in Alhambra, California.
Spectre showed no emotion as he was found guilty of second-degree murder in the death of Lana Clarkson, a sometime actress and restaurant hostess whom Spectre had just met on the night of February 3, 2003.
Spectre was brought on trial for her murder. The first ended in a mistrial following a deadlocked jury, but the second ended in a conviction after the prosecution placed a stronger emphasis on Spectre's abusive behavior. He was found guilty of second-degree murder and sentenced to 19 years to life in prison. He died there in January 2021.
Phil Spectre, the convicted killer and eccentric music producer, has passed away.
Number 4. R. Kelly.
Jurors also saw a videotape performance of R. Kelly performing I Believe I Can Fly at a Grammy Awards show, a reminder of him at the height of his career. Of course, he is a very different place right now.
It was sort of an open secret that R. Kelly was a creep, with accusations of sexual misconduct dating back to the 1990s, and they have resulted in numerous, very public criminal trials. The first was extremely scandalous, given the nature of the heinous crime. It also became highly notorious in 2008, when Kelly was acquitted of all charges and allowed to walk free. And then, Surviving R. Kelly came out in 2019 and changed everything.
I want my story to be heard so people could take this situation seriously. But when I found out it wasn't just me,
I just don't want it to get any worse.
This documentary reignited discussions around Kelly's abuse, and he was subjected to 2 further trials in New York and Chicago. He was found guilty in both, receiving a combined 31 years in prison. He's currently incarcerated in North Carolina's FCC Butner.
After weeks of emotional and disturbing testimony, the jury found the superstar singer guilty on all 9 counts.
Number 3. Rosco Arbuckle. This famous silent film actor was better known as Fatty Arbuckle. Nicknames can be crude. Arbuckle was one of the highest paid actors of his day, but his career virtually ended in September 1921. That's when a young actress named Virginia Rapp died at a San Francisco party that was also attended by Arbuckle. The actor was accused of sexually assaulting Rapp and causing significant internal injuries that led to her death. The sensational nature of the allegations caused the press to explode, and Arbuckle went through 3 highly sensationalized trials. The first 2 ended in mistrials, and Arbuckle was acquitted in the third, complete with a written apology by the jury, claiming that a great injustice has been done. Despite this, Arbuckle's career never recovered. Number 2. Michael Jackson.
Tonight, is that a pajama party? No way. It's Michael Jackson and his entourage showing up over an hour late to court. It's a pajama party, everybody!
This is perhaps the most divisive celebrity trial in history, either a gross miscarriage of justice or a wrongful accusation. Occurring in 2005, the trial saw Jackson facing charges related to various sexual offenses. While Jackson himself did not testify, the trial was a media circus and lasted for 5 months.
But of course, who's dominating the subject today of this trial? Michael Jackson himself with what he pulled this morning.
It was all anyone could talk about, with many discussing the merits of the accusations, the strength of the prosecution, and how the trial would impact Jackson's legacy. He was ultimately acquitted of all charges, but he left the trial both emotionally emotionally and physically drained and was never the same. He largely withdrew from the public eye before dying 4 years later from a drug overdose inflicted by his personal physician.
We, the jury in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of conspiracy as charged in count 1 of the indictment, dated June 13th, 2005, foreperson number 80.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. O.J. Simpson.
All right, he appears to have pulled the gloves on, counsel. All right, would you show that to the jury, Mr. Simpson, in that manner? Thank you. Other hand, please.
We ask him to make a fist with his left hand with the gloves on. We ask him to make a fist with his right hand with the gloves on.
He is doing both.
The most scandalous celebrity trial is that of O.J. Simpson, and frankly, it's not even close. This trial has long overshadowed Simpson's football career, and that was legendary. This was the media circus to end all media circuses, a cultural event that enraptured the entire country for nearly 9 months throughout 1995.
All right, Mr. Simpson, would you please stand and face the jury?
It's hard to explain just how big this trial was to people who weren't there, but many of its moments have become famous, like the ridiculous glove incident and Mark Fuhrman's cross-examination, during which he was caught lying about using racial slurs. And of course, it concluded in the most dramatic manner possible, with one of the most infamous acquittals in criminal history. You can't write this stuff.
We, the jury in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information.
Do you think these trials should get their own movies? Let us know in the comments below.
It is the worst case I have ever tried.